The thing about Valve that I find interesting is that you've kind of brought in the community into the fold of the company in a way where we all feel like we're a part of the decision-making process. How early on did you recognize that as being important, not just with the international, but with developing Dota 2?
So one of the things about the internet is it's changing what entertainment is and what sports is. It's not just a few people authoring an experience for other people. It's really growing out of what everybody does.
Welcome back to the show. What you just saw moments ago was actually a preview of an interview with Gabe Newell. We're going to be showing that later tonight, but before we get there, let's get back to the grand finals. And I have to ask, over to you, Bruno, Newbie, how good are they as a team? What are their chances going into this grand finals?
Their chances are really, really good, James. This team barely qualified 10th in the group stage, but after that, they've been in a roll. They won 6 matches in a row against the best teams. Can they take this tournament? Absolutely.
Well, Bruno's pretty convinced, but our newbie, Jeff Keighley, had a chance to sit down with the team. Let's see what they had to say.
Thanks very much, James. I am down here in the Players Lounge with Xiao 8 here from China, competing in the International 4. You will be in the grand final tomorrow. What does your family think of you playing Dota and the fact that you're here, going to be going home with, I mean, over $1 million for your team already?
你的家人对你打 Dota 有什么看法？
最开始他们不知道我是在打职业 Dota， 我有就是我怕家人不支持我打 Dota 嘛，所以我有瞒着家里人说我自己在外面工作，然后后面慢慢的他们才知道。
He says that he didn't dare to tell his parents that he was actually playing professional Dota, so he just skimmed over it and said he was just working outside. Then he slowly kind of came out and told them he was a professional Dota player.
And what do they think now that you're making all this money? You've recently got married. Life is pretty good, right?
他说现在你生活好像很好，你上了那个相亲节目，结婚了，而且打 Dota 赚了很多钱，所以他问你现在你的家人有什么看法？
现在因为我的家人都非常支持我，就像这一届，就是每一届的 TI， 我家人都会在电视里面熬夜帮我加油。
He says that now his family is very supportive of him, especially during TIs. They'll always be watching TVs and cheering for him.
What will winning the grand final, what will that mean to you and your team?
如果你能赢总决赛，对你和你的队友来说有什么意义？
我之前在片头的采访有说过，如果对我自己来说的话，我赢得 TI 冠军，一个就是我打了这么多年的 Dota， 对我自己是一个肯定，还有就是以后可以很骄傲的对我以后的孩子说，我可以就是我拿过 TI 冠军，如果我拿到的话。
He says that if he manages to win this TI, it will be something that he'll be very proud to tell his children next time that he won it.
Excellent. All right. Well, you're pretty good at it. We look forward to seeing you and the newbie team tomorrow in the grand finals. Best of luck to you. And now back to you, James.
Well, newbie certainly looked determined and ready for the grand finals, and they should be. They played Vici once before in the tournament on day 1 in the winner bracket, and they were victorious with a 2-1 victory. Though today we saw Vici on a winning spree. Shiva, they had an amazing day.
They definitely did. They played 3 best-of-3 series, and every single one of those was victorious. And even the games that they did not win, they still looked very strong. They are looking amazing for the grand finals tomorrow.
Well, they look amazing for us, and let's see if they're ready for the grand finals. Casey Atchison got to sit down with the team for an interview.
Thanks, James. I'm here with ROTK of Vici Gaming, who just led his team to the grand finals. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Thank you, and I feel just unbelievable, amazing. Yeah, amazing.
How are you able to stay calm?
Sometimes I know I'm not. I'm crazy. Yeah.
Me too. So it works out. The Dota community is huge. A lot of players. You have a lot of different friends on other teams. What about the fans? The Dota fans. What do the fans in the community mean to you?
Just for me, they give me so much power. The fans' support is very useful.
And now you're playing tomorrow for millions millions of dollars. Right?
But I can relax now because tomorrow I still keep fighting the finals. Yeah, I will try my best to win it, and you know.
ROTK, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Really appreciate it. Best of luck tomorrow.
All right.
James, back to you.
We have to pause for a short break, but when we come back, we'll have that interview with Gabe Newell. We'll also be talking to our analysts about their predictions of the grand finals, and they've promised me no fighting. And we'll also be checking out our favorite moments from the tournament thus far. Don't go anywhere.
Krista, you know I love you more than anything else in the world, and I just can't even imagine, almost at a loss for words, ever living without you. I love you so much. Will you marry me?
Welcome back to the International Grand Final Preview Show. And as mentioned before, we had an interview. Well, we've got it now. Casey Atchison had a chance to sit down with Gabe Newell before the tournament started and talk about everything international and how it came to be.
Just about everyone in gaming knows Gabe Newell. In 1996, he started Valve, and the studio has become a runaway success, creating a litany of hit game franchises. The studio is also the creative force behind Steam, the leading online platform for games with over 75 million active accounts around the world. But Gabe takes little to no credit for the studio's success. Instead, he points to the people he works with at the studio and the emphasis everyone at Valve puts on the community who plays their games. It's part of an effort he refers to as a service.
I'm going to ask you some questions that it's going to feel like I want to ask on behalf of people who really don't understand what's going on here.
Yep.
And that being said, this is the 4th International, the first being several years ago. Where did the idea to do this at all come from?
It really came out of these community of people who are playing on the internet. They started setting up their own games. So this started to occur on a grassroots level. And then it sort of reached the point where you have 10, 20 million people doing it. And there was a lot of momentum to get together and find out who the best people in the world were. We helped facilitate that, but we really view ourselves as being part of this much larger community.
What about the prize money? How much the first year?
First prize was $1 million, and that was like 20 times as large as most of the previous prizes. And then we have this problem. We're like, how much should the money be? And we said, okay, well, let's let the fans decide. So the fans get to vote. They get to vote on who their favorite casters are and announcers are, and they also get to decide what the prize pool is. Right now, it's almost $11 million. So that's like bigger than the Masters in terms of the prize pool. And it comes from this community of gamers around the world.
Life-changing money.
Well, for a lot of these people, it is really life-changing money. When you're coming from Singapore, when you're coming from the Ukraine, this is a spectacular opportunity for them. For them, I think it's as much to show the world what they're capable of as it is the economic gain. What
are you most looking forward to about this year's International?
We're hoping that the same kind of magic we've seen happen in previous years will happen, and so for us, we're kind of rolling the dice and hoping that something as awesome as we've had in previous years will happen. So when that hits, then we get to have our fist pumped and say yes.
Do you do like a group like rah-rah?
I think I do that, and then other people stare at me.
I'll do it with you.
Okay.
The thing about Valve that I find interesting is that you've kind of brought in the community into the fold of the company in a way where we all feel like we're a part of the decision-making process. How early on did you recognize that as being important, not just with the International, but with developing Dota 2?
So one of the things about the internet is it's changing what entertainment is and what sports is. It's not just a few people authoring an experience for other people. It's really growing out of what everybody does. So when I have a great game playing Dota, everybody else is benefiting. And that goes all the way to people creating content, people running tournaments, and people competing on an international stage. And really, every single element of the game allows the community itself to participate and create.
How much do you pay attention to how plugged in the world is when it comes to this game? Because it's constant. If you go to Twitter, people are constantly talking about Valve, the game, all of that. What does that tell you about the passion for Dota 2?
So these fans are incredibly connected. They're very sophisticated. You know, they've grown up in a media age. You know, they've never had fewer than 500 television channels. So they're pretty smart about what's real and what's fake, you know, what's phony versus what's genuine. So when they're responding to these players, you know, it's because they really believe that these people deserve to be celebrated and rewarded. You know, we always say you can't lie to the internet, and when you're up on this stage competing with these people, you know, fighting for this prize and for the recognition, you know, you really have a sense that the best in these people are coming out.
All right, so if you could pick your favorite moment from the last few years in all the internationals, what would it be?
My favorite moment? I think my favorite moment was last year. There was this base race, which is very unusual, where the two teams are just seconds away from winning. It's the last game of the grand finals. And a friend of mine, she's in her late 50s, she'd never even heard of Dota 2 before. She'd come to the tournament because her son was interested in it and she had to bring him. So I'm there and the crowd is going crazy. We're all just standing on our feet, screaming, jumping around. And there she is, 4 days before, had never even heard of Dota, and she's doing it too, right? The fact that we could take somebody who'd never seen the game before and turn them into a screaming, raging fan in 4 days, that's my favorite moment.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great job. That was great.
Welcome back to the panel, and now it's time for predictions. So I'm going to ask everybody, who's going to take the grand final tomorrow, Newbie or Vici?
I think it's going to be Vici 3-1 beating Newbie. Vici's lineup is just so explosive. They can end the game in 15 minutes time, often storming the opponent's base by surprise and forcing them to call an early GG. FY, one of the most individually talented supports in the game.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be Vici Gaming as well. There's a reason why they were first in their group, and Newbie just had to go through a tiebreaker to get to the 10th place. Plus, they also have our OTK, a guy with such charisma, such passion. I love that guy, and I want him to do well.
Well, Vici might be looking strong, but I think actually Newbie is going to take it. They've been looking amazingly strong as well. They've just come off of a 2-day rest, so they've had plenty of time to study their opponents, and they're ready to take down Newbie.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with you, Shiva. Newbie have been brilliant. They beat Vici once before, and they beat him for a reason. They outdrafted him, and they outplayed him. Despite Vici having an amazing day and doing a comeback, Newbie, I just think, are a different team. So it seems like we're split. It's 2-2. We'll have to check out tomorrow how it's going to go. But also, the tournament has been amazing thus far. Really brilliant. Do you guys have any favorite moments from the event?
To me, it's all about the underdogs. While all the former international champions were eliminated relatively soon, it was Navi and IG getting 7th and 8th place. LGD, that came from the qualifiers, they actually got to a surprising 5th place. And then you got Newbie, which was in the 10th place, as I was saying before, and Vici Gaming, which coming into a tournament, no one even had them as top 8. It's been the tournament of the underdogs.
And for me, the Dota has just been simply amazing. I've loved every single game that I've watched this tournament. There is no dominant Titan. You have no idea who's going to win, and that just leads to the best Dota games.
Well, my favorite moment was definitely the opening ceremony, the vibe of the stadium here in Key Arena, and it's just been amazing, the feel of it.
Yeah, it's really been electric. I'm going to agree with Shiva again. You get 2 points from our panel competition that I've just made up, but really, it's been amazing. The atmosphere, the crowd, and it's really the fans that have made this event brilliant. The stadium's been packed and everyone seems to be enjoying it. So there we have it. Make sure you check out tomorrow, because that's when the grand finals will be happening, and they're also going to be on ESPN free, and you can also watch it on the ESPN app. I hope to see you there, but for now, good night.